After Disney has made it clear that they are getting out of politics, moderating their stances, and after the Disney World announcements that just landed, CEO Bob Iger is selling more than $40 million of Disney stock. At the same time, investors think it's really hot. Folks will explain it. It's both more and different than what you think it might be. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we endeavor as ever to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of that culture curve. And folks, we are not a financial advice kind of channel. We are not here to tell you what to do with your stocks, and definitely not what to do with Disney stock. And yet, here we are, trying to tell you what's going on with Bob Iger selling $42.7 million worth of company stock. We've got the explanations, but folks, I also want to let you know that we will not be going as deep on this topic as Valiant Renegade at 6 p.m. Eastern, November 24th. That's the Renegade Online show. So we ask you, if you would like a really deep dive into this topic, check out what Valiant has to say. All right, we begin with Todd Spangler. We ask that you click that like button as we begin. This is out of Variety. Disney CEO Bob Iger sells $42.7 million worth of company stock. Bob Iger, chief executive of Disney, cashed out a chunk. He sold 372,412 shares of Disney on November 22nd. Now, I want everybody to remember that number. It's a big number, 372,412. 372,412. You're going to want to remember that, I promise. It's going to come back in just a minute. 372,412. 372,412. With an aggregate market value of $42 million and change, according to an SEC filing. Those shares were vested stock options Iger was granted in 2014 that were set to expire in December. Now, specifically, they were set to expire, I believe it's either the 17th or the 19th. We'll get that in another article in a moment. We'll clarify that. But he had some time. He's not waiting. That's going to play a part of what we're talking about today. He exercised the options under a trading plan adopted last week. Note that Iger is not pocketing $42.7 million. The options granted in 2014 have an exercise price of $92.24 per share, which is the price at which he could buy the shares. Any gain Iger makes on a stock sale would be the difference between the strike price and the share price at the time of the sale minus taxes. All right, back to Variety for a moment. Let's take a look at this, and I'll explain why he's selling and when he's selling and all of that. Says, and by the way, same author, Disney CEO Bob Iger adopted a trading plan to exercise options granted 10 years ago, currently worth more than $40 million. According to Disney's 10-K filing Thursday with the SEC, on August 14th, Iger adopted a trading plan that provides for the potential exercise of 372,412. Remember, 372,412? The trading plan also allows for the sale up to 372,412. And remember, December 18th, I split the difference. So he's got that until December 18th. I said 17th, 19th. It's the 18th. All right. Well, what do we know? Folks, remember this. The plan said the trading plan allowed him to sell up to 372,412 by December 18th. Let's go back to the newest article. What did he do? He sold all of them. He didn't hold any of them. He sold every one of those, and he sold them on November 22nd, almost a month before the deadline. So when I say that this is both bigger and different than what people are anticipating, I mean it. Iger selling all this stock does not mean that the Disney stock is about to crash and he knows it. It doesn't mean that he's suddenly cashing out all his Disney stock. This is rather routine in some ways. The unroutine part of this comes from two things that you might not have considered without watching this video. Unroutine thing number one appears to me to be, although I'm not a financial expert, but I do pay very close attention to Disney, that he's doing this a month ahead of the deadline. The second thing that's interesting to me is he's exercising his option on all the stocks available under this plan. Now, this probably does not constitute all the stocks that Iger owns in total. But I want to say to you that it seems to me that generally, and I'm sure he has this set aside to people who are financial wizards and they know everything and they do this stuff for him. I bet. But generally, if you're financially savvy, you want to sell at the highest possible point. So I just wonder if Iger sees volatility ahead. I don't know that, but I'll give you some indicators that perhaps they do think that maybe there's risk in holding on until December 18th. Again, though, this is not anything other than totally routine, just the timing is interesting. This was a tweet I put out, a post. Sorry, Elon, old habits die slowly. Not a tweet anymore, right? It says, Dear Disney, this is the end of your dominance at the top of theme parks. Universal will overtake you, and you earned every bit of it. And that will shake the stock to its core. You are imbeciles. Josh D'Amaro is the worst head of parks in the history of the company. And it's referring to this. You see, this is the concept art in Disney's Hollywood Studios where they're going to kick out Jim Henson's final project, which is very popular at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Jim Henson's final project, and he is a cultural icon, a cultural giant in all of entertainment in American history. And they're going to kick out the Muppet Vision 3D show for no reason. You see, all of this changeover here to Monsters, which nobody really wants a Monsters Land. Nobody has asked for that. But it's also that they can build this Monsters ride at the back of it. But you could put the Monsters ride at the back of it, and you don't have to do any of this. This is all so they can claim to their investors that they are building an immersive land to compete with Epic Universe, which is all immersive lands. Of course, this is not an immersive land, but on a spreadsheet, they can say it. Now, when Sears went under, it wasn't because there was one moment in time when Sears made a horrible mistake that everybody could pin on, this is the moment Sears is done. When Radio Shack went under, there wasn't a singular point where you could say, this is it, this is the end. And we could go through a number of these, right? We could go through all of the huge companies, unbelievably big companies. Sears at one point was the biggest retail in the country, in North America. So we could go through those and we could name, these huge companies that have lost their spot at the top, right? There are no more Kmart blue light specials. And there is no point in time that you could go and say, this is the exact moment. So I'm trying to say that this is the point where we can now recognize the cumulative effects of terrible, terrible ideas for Disney. I don't know what will happen with the Disney stock. I don't know what will happen with the Disney company. I cannot look into the future and give you absolute clarity. But I can tell you that I think this is indicative of what's happening. This is a poll I put out. 790 votes in this. Will the Monsters, Inc. theater show be better than Jim Henson's final project, Muppet Vision 3D? 88.2% say no, it will not be better. And that is because no one now expects Disney to do anything better when they destroy something. We don't know why they're destroying stuff anyway, but nobody expects them to do better. And so that's a terrible place for Disney to be. You now have, by the way, situations like this with the Jim Henson Company releasing a statement about the closure of Muppet Vision 3D. And you can tell they're not real keen on this idea of it closing. They're eager to see what's going to come out next, but they're not real happy about it. And I don't think many people are either. It's not just the parks, though. And this Henson thing, by the way, people might say, well, this is silly. It's just the Muppets. Who cares? It's like, no, they've already destroyed Epcot. It smells like sewage because they're incompetent now. The whole middle of Epcot smells like sewage. The lights don't work. They're covering them up. Moana's splash pad doesn't work half the time. It should never be there in the first place. They really ruined Epcot. Does anybody sit there and think, oh man, I'm glad they took away illuminations from Epcot at night? Nobody thinks that. They really wrecked that park. And they're doing the same at Magic Kingdom. Is there anybody really anymore who says, oh, Tiana's is great? Nobody but ideologues, because it's not, because it doesn't function. And so even if you thought Tiana's as a concept was better than Splash as a concept, you can't anymore because Tiana's doesn't work. How is it they're so bad at this that when they reskin a ride, they ruin it? It's amazing. And guess what? Now they're going to do it with Magic Kingdom with 1/4 of the park. They're going to fill in the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island and turn it into a dirt track. They're doing it at Hollywood Studios with the Muppets. There's nothing that they view as being sacred anymore. And by that, I mean there's nothing that's beautiful or amazing or has a legacy that they're not willing to destroy in order to try to fulfill their lightning lane quotas that they've projected for the future. And that's when you know the company is going to spiral, because the people who run it no longer are worthy of making these kinds of decisions. They're incompetent to the max. If I were Josh tomorrow, for example, and somebody told me you're going to have to destroy Jim Henson's final work so that we can have an immersive land, I would say no, because I'm Josh tomorrow. I'm not Jim Henson. Jim Henson is a cultural icon, and I'm not a household name. So the idea that you're going to make me be the person to have my name to stuck to that forever, forget it. There's no amount of money you can pay me to do that. I'll find a way around it. But these people don't think that way. I want to share this with you too. Moana 2. It's their most important princess franchise. We're looking at it right now on Rotten Tomatoes on Sunday, November 24th. You'll notice it does not have a tomato meter, nor does it have a popcorn meter. It's out there right now, 2 days, well, a day and a half before it releases, with no reviews at all. And do you know why that is? It's because they're holding the embargo until hours before this movie releases. That does not project confidence in their most important princess franchise. Moana was viewed more than any other film in 2023. And so what did they do? Bob Iger ordered them to repurpose a TV show into a movie. Now maybe it will defy how Disney is behaving, because Disney is not behaving like they've got a winner. Maybe it will be a winner. And maybe it will blow away the box office. But Iger doesn't have the luxury, perhaps, of assuming that will be so. Perhaps we should take notice when Iger exercises his option a month early on the same day they make the Hollywood Studios announcement, which was extremely poorly received. Oh my gosh. Perhaps we should take notice when he exercises his stock option one weekend before Moana opens. Perhaps we should take notice when Bob Iger takes his stock options 1 year exactly from when Wish was released at the box office. It was the 1 year anniversary. I think all of these things are worth looking at. Is Bob Iger cashing out on all of Disney and bailing, and is this the fire sale and everybody should run for the doors and sell their Disney stock too? No. But I just wonder if Iger is seeing volatility in the next week that's causing his financial people to say, we're going to sell early. We're not going to wait until the deadline. I just find it fascinating. I think we should look at the timing, but I don't think that we should turn this into some sort of sensational, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. But rather we should say, what is it that's causing Bob's people to do this at this time, this way, before the time is out without delay? Interesting, isn't it? Folks, that is the video for the day. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, like, share, subscribe. Click it and stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. We want to thank you. We are on pace for a record-breaking November, and it is yet another record that will be broken month after month. You all continue to lift this channel up, and we can never say thank you enough. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Okay, these colors just seem to conflict with your natural tone.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Obviously, we're getting Jose ready to throw his name in the hat to be the next CEO of Disney.
That's ridiculous. He's not qualified for that kind of role.
Well, of course he is. He's a wonderful candidate for a corporate puppet.
What on earth is happening?
He's literally a foreign agent by all accounts. You think honoring boundaries is a thing? No! This is Disney! He's got diversity points, green skin, and a wig. And most importantly, he likes to destroy things and blow them up, whether they're from the past or from now. He shows no discrimination.
Okay, you know what? I really can't argue with any of that. So,
right?
You two have fun. I'm gonna go read thatparkplace.com and watch WDW Pro.
Okay, bye. Okay, Jose, say magical experiences.
I already hate this.